Back in the California sunshine with a helmet update. Huge day here at Levi Stadium, which is undergoing some off-season maintenance ahead of the World Cup. But rookie minicamp, players came today, checked in. We got to meet a lot of them. A ton of content here coming up in this video. Interview content with some of the rookies, including one who reminded us a lot of George Kittle. But it also happened to be the first meeting of Raheem Morris, the 49ers' new defensive coordinator, and the local Bay Area media. So we got to hear all about Raheem's philosophy, maybe even got a couple hints about how the 49ers will construct their defense.
You know, these guys are getting, they're harder to defend. Just the coordinators in this league, let's not kid ourselves. People want to see offense. The rules have changed in different ways for you to do different things. So you got to have some multiplicity in your front. You got to have multiplicity in the back end. You got to be able to do different things. You like to be able to do those things when you decide to do those things and use them as terms where you can, dictate, so to speak. But, we have been a four-down rush team, and we've done a nice job of it. I know we've dibbled and dabbled a little bit last year, even with Robert Saleh, which I have so much respect for and what he was able to do and how we did it. But, I was able to accumulate and acquire a bunch of different ideas and thoughts along my stops with the different people that I work with, whether it's been Jim Haslett in Washington, where they were strictly a 3-4 base Pittsburgh team, or really being able to do some of the different things that we did last year, being able to mix it up, being able to play some 4-down stuff, being able to play a bunch of 5-down stuff. So, I think you got to be able to move around and kind of move those chess pieces to be able to help you go out there and really do your best to stop these really explosive offenses.
Multiplicity, that is the word of the day from Raheem Morris, somebody who started under Monty Kiffin, worked under Jim Haslett, worked under, I guess I can't say under, but he worked with the Rams following Brandon Staley, who's of the Vic Fangio tree. So when you look at Raheem Morris, he's coordinated 4-man fronts, he's coordinated 3-man fronts, he's coordinated 5-man fronts. Maybe you can expect a mix of everything with the 49ers. We also heard from the offensive coordinator for San Francisco, Klay Kubiak, who is obviously very excited that the 49ers picked up Mike Evans, but on top of that, he's got some ideas as to how Brock Purdy can take yet another step this year. And I thought that this was some of the most detail that we'd heard from Klay Kubiak on his quarterback's development.
Yeah, you look at plays where, okay, Brock's a really athletic guy. He can make plays with his feet. But are you missing an opportunity to make a better play down the field, maybe because you decided to run or you moved a certain way and you missed a guy down the field? So it's just working on pocket movement, working on ways you can move in the pocket to find throwing lanes and being more consistent in that area.
And then from more of a news standpoint, and not huge news, but it's an update, and that's what these reactions are all about. Brant Boyer talked about the 49ers punt return competition, and it's wide open. But he even mentioned that Ricky Pearsall was going to be one of the many 49ers names auditioning for that punt return job. Of course, Jacob Cowing is one of the names that the 49ers are looking at there. Jordan Watkins has returned punts in his college career. The 49ers have many possibilities, but no one that has really proven themselves at the NFL level there. Obviously, Sky Moore is now a Green Bay Packer. Also, the 49ers are having a competition at punter, and this is one where they brought in Corliss Waitman, who's a lefty punter. He's a veteran. And then they brought in Jack Bouwmeester out of the University of Texas, and he's a right-footed punter. And that's going to be really, really good for the 49ers punt return competition. I even asked Brant Boyer about it.
Well, I'm excited about it. Let those two guys battle it out. You have a veteran guy that's been in the league a while and is a very athletic guy. And interestingly enough, when he was coming out, I was trying to get him as a free agent. So I had a previous relationship with the guy, with Waitman, and he's a super good guy. Got a real powerful leg. Athletic guy, and then Bouwmeester, was through all our tape studies, went and worked him out and everything like that. Did a heck of a job for us. I've known his coach for a long time, and trust what he tells me as well. And we really liked him in our interviews and everything like that. And I think it's going to be a great competition moving forward.
Having both a lefty and a righty help evaluate.
For sure, because the ball spin's different, right? So I think it's really, really going to help. And, I think whoever the dust settles with at that position, it'll be great experience for those returners to have to catch those balls like that for sure.
Now, today was just meet and greet day here at the facility, and by that I mean that we got a chance to talk to the 49ers rookies, everybody except for Kalon Black of the draftees. Kalon's going to be available tomorrow, and tomorrow is when the 49ers rookies take the field for actual minicamp. So you're going to get to hear from some of these guys. Grayson Halton was one of my favorites. Carver Willis is the lineman out of Washington that reminds people a lot of George Kittle. You'll get to see all of this personality. So I just want you guys to watch, get to know some of the 49ers rookies, get to know some of the personality, and then maybe we even wrap up with a couple of quotes from Raheem Morris. So anyway, this was intro day from 49ers rookie minicamp. Want to let the players and the coaches speak for themselves, and tomorrow we'll be able to react to an actual practice.
Viable engine, but it doesn't have all the flash and power, you know? There are some guys that are just outliers. Like, you just some things you're God-given and some things you are not. And there are things that skill can overcome, but simply put, you gotta be in the top 1% of genetics to be like a franchise left tackle in the NFL. And as much as God blessed me with, I didn't quite get that. So
would you say like Trent Williams is just like godlike, like at a left tackle position with his speed and all that?
Personally, I'll never say anything's godlike. Personally, I think there's one, and I think he's pretty solid in what he does. But Trent Williams is phenomenal. There's no doubt he's phenomenal. He's the top 1%, right? He's the 1% genetic-wise. And also, I mean, obviously he has 12 All-Pros and all this stuff. That doesn't come without a great work ethic as well. So he kind of has the perfect blend of the maturity of handling the talent. He's the standard.
Have the coaches talked to you about playing any center?
Like some, you know, it's more like, hey, we're going to send you out with QC exchange just if, just to have that position versatility. Just because, you know, you never know what you'll need in a pinch. And kind of one of my main selling points in this whole process was, hey, I can be a legitimate backup at all five. If worse comes to worse, there's not a whole lot of centers that can give you a game at tackle. And there's not a whole lot of guards that can give you a game at tackle or center. So, like, for me, it's like, yeah, I think I can start somewhere on the line, or wherever a coach needs me to start. I do believe I can be a starter in this league, hands down. But, like, having the ability to be like, hey, if rosters get pinched, like we've seen it, like, hey, we need a guy to slide out to tackle. It's like, great, 6 years of experience. Great, I can steal you 3 games. I don't know if I can give you a season, but I can give you a few games. And so that versatility is something I believe the 49ers are really smart and want to take advantage of.
Have any guys in your room spoken to you yet, like any of the other offensive linemen, veterans?
No, ma'am, not yet. Kittle DM'd me, which is pretty sick. And then I set my draft day number as my fiance's phone so I could kind of stay away from mine a little bit. And so Brock Purdy actually texted my fiance, which she was like, whoa, you got to respond to this. So a couple guys reached out, but none of the vet O-line guys yet.
Specifically at left guard, is there anyone that you're like currently watching that you try to emulate your game after?
There's not anyone I'm trying to model my game after. There's guys I'm trying to learn from, though. You know, throughout this process, moving inside, I started with the greats, you know. So when I started learning center, I started with Jason Kelsey. Like, there's no one better. And then when I started breaking down guard film, I started with Zach Martin because he was a tackle in college that moved to guard. He might not be left guard, but there's plenty of carryover. So no one I'm trying to like model after and be like, oh my gosh, I want to be that guy. Being Zach Martin would be pretty sweet. That being said, I'm not like trying to be Zach Martin, if that makes sense, but I'm trying to learn from those guys.
Last one, guys.
You mentioned Kittle. Any similarities there with his personality and yours? I know you haven't gotten a chance to really meet him, but what do you think of the way he just kind of carries himself?
Obviously, super authentic guy. That's going to be my approach in this process as well. Just be myself. I can be kind of a dork at times, but I don't know about carryover. Like you said, I haven't met him. But the main thing about Kittle is Kittle's Kittle. He's going to be himself, and he's not going to change for anyone. He's going to be who he is, and he's going to be respectful of everyone. And so in that sense, we're alike. I'm going to be myself, be respectful, and kind of carry myself in a certain way. But I hope so. I look forward to meeting him. He seems like a really cool guy. So.
Sorry, I stepped in a bit late. I mean, your college coach, Jed Fish, has a good relationship with some of the front office and the coaching staff here. How did you watch much 49ers tape as part of game preparation or practice in college? Is there any crossover there?
Not as much game preparation because there's not a ton of carryover nowadays between college defenses and NFL defenses. But as far as like practice tape, UW, like the Niners can do no wrong at UW. We watch their walkthroughs to learn how to walk through. We watch their practice tape to learn how to practice professionally. Like we learn all that. So truly nothing, like Niners can do no wrong. It's an organization that UW really, really respects. So we watched it to learn. So yeah, we watched their run game to learn how to run wide zone, tight zone, all that kind of stuff. And then we watched literally the practice tape because our coach needed a good example of how to practice professionally without hurting guys and, being smart. So yeah, no, UW really respects the Niners.
Oh yeah, I was first, excited, seeing the facility, meeting everybody. Now, that I'm here, I'm excited to, get to work, start practice tomorrow.
Have you met any of your defensive line teammates yet?
No, not yet.
Can you take me through your nickname, how you got that?
Yeah, G-Baby. Oh yeah, so I'm the youngest. And I had two older brothers, and Hardball is a movie with G-Baby in it. And my older brother, he's always called me, G-Baby, and I just, took it to college and just made it my own name.
How familiar are you with the 49ers and their wide nine and what they do on the field defensively?
Yeah, I came from, a defensive-minded head coach, at Oklahoma, so it's nothing new to me. I know our defensive coordinator, he's more of a, attack, so, I'm an attack guy. So the stuff that he puts in the schemes, just ready to lock in and, get to it.
Have you met Raheem Morris yet?
No, not yet. On FaceTime.
How familiar were you with Alfred Collins during your time at Oklahoma?
I wasn't really familiar, but, I've watched him. He's a big guy, big dude, can move. I'm excited to, play right next to him.
How difficult was it for you to transition from defensive end to defensive tackle?
It started off, coming in the college, my freshman, sophomore year, and, just making that transition, it had to be a lot of dedication, knowing the different techniques. But once I got it down, I was ready to go.
How challenging was that just from a body type standpoint to play one position and then move inside?
Yeah, coming in, I was 250, and then leaving, I was about 290, 295. So, they had all the stuff there for us, all the nutrition, all the things that we needed to take. So I just, took everything I needed to, worked hard in the weight room, got bigger and better every day, and just, got, complete with my body, felt right.
Yeah, how difficult was that? Or what did that entail, putting on 45 pounds?
Yeah, I mean, just entailed a lot, running with the weight, making sure that you're comfortable with it. I feel like I was going bits by bits, so it wasn't, as difficult as, just putting on 10 pounds. You got to be 10 pounds by next week. So just, taking it day by day, week by week. And, I just, got bigger, got faster, got stronger every day.
Does it feel natural?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir, it does.
Looking forward to playing in front of Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. My job is to make their job easier. Make them just play complete, and that's what I'm ready to do.
How much has Trent Williams talked about on Norman campus?
Shoot, out of the 4 years I was there, I've heard a lot of Trent Williams. I'm excited to meet him as well. He actually gave me a follow on Instagram, so that's pretty cool. But Oklahoma alumni, I'm sure that we're gonna click.
At 36.5 vertical, I think you're 2 inches above Trent's. I think it was 34.5.
Okay, yeah, he athletic now.
But getting up to 36.5, even as you had put up that weight, you got up to 290. How difficult was that? You mentioned kind of balancing, getting heavier, but maintaining that athleticism.
Yeah.
What kind of training had to go into that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was, just making sure you're eating good, making sure that, you're keeping your body around the 290, 295, and just working out, doing 1080s. I was in Arizona training, so doing explosive work, getting in the weight room, that all comes together. And, but I've always been an athlete, so that vertical, was just showing the athletic part of on my side, but just getting better every day, just pushing it and getting in the weight room, getting on the field, just making myself better.
I think you said last month that you're a Cowboys fan growing up.
Yeah.
Did you watch a lot of Osa Odigizua, and was he somebody that you sort of tried to model yourself after?
Oh no, so like growing up, I was a Cowboys fan. My dad, I watched like Ezekiel Elliott, DeMarco Murray, Sean Lee, guys like that.
Not the recent.
Yeah, not the recent. In those days, that's when I was playing running back and linebacker, tight end, wide receiver, all that. So, but now, my team 49ers. So
when your family comes to watch you and Niners play the Cowboys, are they going to be rooting for the Cowboys?
They better not be. They better be rooting for the 49ers, my team. So.
What type of running back were you?
Oh, I was, I can, once I get to that sideline, on hashes, I'm gone. I was fast. But I can run through the hole, lower my shoulder if I need to, so it's done. I loved it, though.
What's the biggest challenge you face going from outside to inside physically, skill set wise?
Yeah, just knowing the techniques, knowing where you got to get your hands to, if guard pulls in, guard pulls out, knowing what's your next move, staying in your gap, playing those double teams. So, there's little bits of pieces that, you got to get better at to hold your ground, to get your hands back. So, for me, just being consistent. I want to be consistent in everything that I do. And, it all paid off in Oklahoma.
What age did you stop playing running back?
I stopped playing running back once I got to Oklahoma.
Oh, so through senior
year. Yeah, so you watch my senior highlight, you'll see some wide receiver film, you'll see everything.
What was your height and weight at that point?
My height and weight, coming out of senior year, I was probably about 6'2", 250.
Trucking some kids in high school.
Oh, yeah. Lowering that shoulder.
So you're from San Diego and your family's close by. Can you speak a little bit on your family and how much it means to you that they're able to support?
Yeah, it means a lot. Being in Oklahoma for 4 years, they couldn't really come as much as they wanted to. So to just know that, I'm up the road, they all going to come out. But, it's good and bad. You got some people that want to come up here I got to say no to. So, just having my small family that can, come up, that's a blessing.
Did you ever lobby for a carry at Oklahoma?
Pardon?
Did you ever lobby to carry the ball at least once?
Oh, yes, I did. But, I had to block first. So I had to prove that I could block. And then,
that didn't go so well?
Progress. Progress.
I actually, I grew up an Osavo kid. But I want you guys to know I'm going to learn Spanish soon and keep on supporting 49ers. We're here, baby.
What do you feel clicked for you last year?
I feel like when I joined Kansas, I joined a really good situation, really good O-line room, and the coaches were all amazing too. So I just feel like it's really what I needed.
I know there was no overlap, but the same coaching staff, there's a lineman here with the 49ers now, Dominic Pooney,
Yeah.
who went to Kansas. Have you had a chance to talk or meet him? And B, how familiar were you with his game being at Kansas as well?
I was very familiar with his game. We watched his film a lot over there. He's a really great player, and he's somebody that they always teach tape. He's just a really good player, especially when he was at Kansas and now too. And I talked to him a little bit. That was like the first thing the coaches did. They connected us right away as soon as it happened.
Enrique, how was draft night? I saw you had a big party in Chicago with your family. It seemed like you guys were having a good time.
Oh, draft night was amazing. Draft night, honestly, it was amazing. It's everything I could ever dreamed of. It was me and my family. I mean, I had like 100 people over there, all family members. I'm very appreciative for everybody who came out and support. And yeah, it was everything I could dreamed of.
Carver Willis was just talking to us saying he didn't win the genetic lottery, and that's why he has to be a guard in the NFL, and that the 1% freaks get to be offensive tackles in the NFL. I mean, were you told, like, I don't know, high school, college, like, given your size and athleticism, you have a chance to do this in the NFL?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been told that, but honestly, the way that I'm coming in, like I really just want to play. So it don't really matter where you put me at. I have the mindset of just getting in, just wherever I can fit in.
No, you should tell people you're a genetic freak and a model.
I let other people say that.
Enrique, it seemed like you had a pretty good rapport with Chris Furster. How much dialogue did you have with Furster in the lead up to the draft?
Yeah, we talked a couple times. He's a really good coach, and he came to Chicago. We did like a little workout, and then ever since then we talked a little bit until the draft, and it's pretty cool.
What's your first impressions when you walk into Levi Stadium and
Oh,
locker room and everything?
I didn't know it was like this. It's a beautiful stadium. Everything is it's phenomenal. This is my first time ever being. It's like, honestly, what I did was I didn't even want to YouTube it. I didn't do nothing. I just wanted to be completely surprised when I got out here. And I was completely surprised. I was like in shock when I first got here. It's a beautiful stadium, and San Francisco's a beautiful city as well.
How about when you saw your locker?
Oh, I still got to send my family a photo of that. That's the first thing they said. They're like, "Yo, you gotta take a picture of your locker." They said, "There's a photo." I'm still in shock.
Enrique, you may get a chance to play in a room with maybe the best offensive tackle of this generation. How excited are you to be able to learn from a guy like Trent Williams?
Oh, I'm super excited. That's everybody. That's like the first thing that all my friends and family told me was like, "You get Trent Williams." He's just an amazing player. I grew up watching Trent Williams. He's really one of the best of all time. So it's an honor.
I'm sure that you had an idea entering the combine that you could be one of the fastest linemen. How much did it mean to you coming out of the combine, posting that fastest time?
It meant a lot to me. It was one of those things where I always knew I had it. I always knew I was able to do that. It was just up to me to showcase it. So it being showcased and being shown to the world just meant a lot to me.
And we always talk about running backs, receivers, skill position guys training for the 40. What's it like to train for the 40 at 300 plus pounds? Is there anything extra that has to go into
Yeah, you gotta be extra careful. Running the 40 at that speed and just running the 40 in general at that way, it can be kind of dangerous for a 300-pounder. So it's really just extra preparation and care for the joints, for like all the ligaments and stuff like that. And yeah.
They say wrestling is a great background for all linemen. I know you wrestled. How much did you take away from that? And how much do you use those skills now?
So honestly, I'd probably say none, because I didn't really wrestle for too much. I wrestled for 1 year, and after that was COVID, and I didn't really wrestle after that for COVID. So honestly, I really know. I can tell you the mindset though of wrestling. That was probably the hardest workout I've ever done in my life. That was every day. So the mindset is definitely there.
You mentioned you're open to playing whatever position they throw you at. Or do you expect to play tackle tomorrow at first?
Honestly, I could probably see that, but I haven't really talked to somebody yet.
Is there anything in particular about Kansas's program that helps develop NFL-ready offensive linemen that you?
Oh yeah, the coaches. I'll tell you, it really is just the coaches. They have a really good scheme. A lot of the schemes that they run are similar to NFL schemes. So I was talking to a lot of NFL coaches, and we were already using a lot of the same language in the way they were speaking with technique-wise and schematics, and they were all very surprised about that. But I learned all of that through Kansas and Coach A.
So Coach Leopold's the head guy.
Leipold.
Who's Coach A?
Coach Leipold is the head coach. Coach Daryl Paulso is the offensive line coach.
Okay, thanks.
In 2024 at Syracuse, you lost your job. You didn't play much. I mean, at that point, were you thinking, I'm not going to be drafted?
Yeah, there was definitely a bunch of stuff going through my head at that time, but the main thing that was going through my head was to try to get my spot back, and that I did. I stood for the whole spring, tried to get it back, and I talked to the coaches, and we weren't really seeing eye to eye. They wanted to go in a different direction, so I just had to make the best decision for my career, and at that moment, I was really thinking, I just want to get back on the field.
Yeah, so you're like, let's just play somewhere in college and
see where it goes from there.
Yeah. What do you anticipate will be the biggest learning curve transitioning to this level?
That's a great question. Honestly, the playbooks are probably way more in detailed. Basically, just knowing all 5 positions and how the plays could change depending on the defense. Probably say.
You mentioned wrestling, but you also have a little bit of a basketball background too.
Yeah, I still think I'm a hooper.
Okay, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. How was that transition? Because you played for a while up until high school, correct?
Yeah.
What was that transition like, and when did you know it was football?
Oh, so that's actually a funny story. It really depends who you ask. I still think I'm hooper. I might be a little biased. You ask my mom, she'd probably tell you I'm not. But yeah, just it happened. Probably say my sophomore year because I joined wrestling my junior year, and I really kind of fell out of love with just the sport in general, and football became my main focus. So I joined wrestling to help for football.
A lot, man. That's my guy. You know, he's a Texas Tech alum, and man, they don't get no better than that. So.
How eager are you to pick the brain of Nick Bosa?
Oh man, super. I can't wait to talk to him and see how he go about his day and see how he carry himself. Man, I just can't wait to talk to him. Can't wait to get around him.
What's your first impression of Raheem Morris as defensive coordinator?
He seemed like a pretty chill coach, man. I can't wait to get to work with him.
Melly, your first step and your work ethic are the things that really people talk a lot about. Where the first step you can develop, but where's the work ethic come from?
Man, I feel like I've always had that, like since middle school. Man, whenever I touch the field, it's a different feeling. It's where I can show how much I love football, with the motor. And man, it's something I always had since middle school, and it carried on throughout college. And man, hopefully I can, keep the same motor here.
Who have you met in the locker room so far? What does it feel like, the vibe in there?
I haven't met anyone yet. I'm really looking forward to meeting them, though.
What did you know about the Bay Area before you came here?
Not much. I didn't know much about it. It was my first time coming out for the 30 visit, and man, I loved it out here. It was calm, chill, great weather. Don't get no better.
Anything you want to do around here? Anything like bucket list items?
No, sir. I want to get into that though. See what I can put on my bucket list out here.
One of the scouts described you after the draft as a DPR, designated pass rusher. Is that how you kind of envision yourself too? You're going to be out there on those money downs and maybe later on develop more of the base skills to play DN?
I mean, no, sir. I just, I wanna get in where I can fit in. Honestly, just be where my feet are and just come in and play the role I can play. And it's gonna take a lot of work to get where I want to get, but I'm just coming in, to play the role that I can play.
Have they talked to you at all about their vision for your future, where you could?
Yes, sir. But I don't really want to get into that. Like I said, I just want to, come here and just be where my feet are.
John Lynch was talking about your defense in college, and he said that that's what it's supposed to look like, just all the pressure constantly.
Mm.
Do you see that with the 49ers? There's a good transition from what you did in college to what they want to do this year?
Yes, sir, totally.
Anything else? How about growing up in a big family? I saw that you had 5 sisters and a brother.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you a more competitive person through life, having that many siblings?
Oh yeah, man. My sisters was a huge deal. I had 5 sisters, so they was on me a lot. It was rough growing up with 5 sisters. And my one brother, man, we had it hard with those 5 sisters, but I love them to death.
Where do you fall in the age ranking?
I'm the baby, so yeah, the baby.
You can rush the quarterback. Can you drop into coverage too? Is that part of your skill set?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do a couple more.
What do you think the key is going to be for you to make an impact as a rookie, going up against NFL tackles on a daily snap-to-snap basis?
Like y'all said, just surrounding myself around guys like Nick Bosa and just picking his brain and just seeing how he handled things and his film study when going up against tackles it's going to be a huge deal. And I feel like doing things like that and just just taking it day by day, just stacking days, and that'll tell where I'll be at in a few.
You got a pretty explosive spin move. How did you develop that? Is that a high school thing, or how long have you had that move?
It was something I had to work on. It was honestly, just a counter. It was never me going into rushing my opponent saying that I was going to spin on him. It was just a counter. I could feel his shoulders turn to the sideline, and it was just a counter that I would use a lot whenever I felt like the tackle in a different position that I wanted them in.
Did you have a player you emulated your game after when you were growing up?
No, sir. I mean, it's a lot of different players that I studied their game because it's a lot of greats in the pass rushing field, but it's not really. I haven't really looked up to anyone.
Nick Bosa has a really close relationship with Trent Williams, who's obviously a Hall of Fame,
Mm-hmm.
future Hall of Fame tackle. do you have a relationship with any tackles? Have you worked with any that have kind of helped you out at all?
No, ma'am.
But looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it.
You just talked about Carver, your teammate at Washington, and he said that the Niners can do no wrong at Washington, that the staff there really uses what they do here as a model. Did you see that as well on the defensive side of the ball there?
Yeah. I mean, like I feel like we got like an NFL style defense with Coach Fish coming from different teams, and he kind of tries to be like a 33rd NFL team. So I feel like that is it.
How closely did you get to work with Jake Lynch when he was on staff there in 24, I think?
Pretty close. He was like doing the cut-ups and stuff for us. So it was a pretty good relationship with him.
What's something you want to learn from Bouwmeester Lenore?
Say that one more time.
From what do you want to learn from Bouwmeester Lenore?
I want to learn from everybody. I mean, my brothers played with him, so it's another chance for me to play with him now. I'm willing and open to learning anything from him, anything and everything.
Your brother played tight end at Sac State. Was he a role model for you growing up?
Yeah, for sure. All my siblings, really, just having them there and with their support, it means a lot to me, them as well as my family.
Talk a little bit more about your family, your siblings, and how many you have, and what that support means to you.
So I got a big family, 2 older brothers, a twin sister, and 3 younger brothers. And like I said, they've been there for me throughout this whole process since I started playing football. So they mean a lot to me.
You have to get out this weekend, your first look at working with some of the coaches.
You said get out this weekend?
Or
like
get
on
out
the field?
there and work with
Oh,
some
yeah,
of the
yeah.
coaches
I'm
this weekend.
real excited to get out on the field. Just a blessing to be here. Just trying to take it a day at a time.
Is it a lot? Is it all just a lot to?
I mean, I'm just trying to be where my feet are. Like I said, blessed to be here. Yeah.
You guys had some real length at corner with you and Takario. Did you guys have a pretty good, healthy competition between the two of you guys?
Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah.
Where do you wind up?
The Bengals.
Is your first name Bible inspired?
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay. Is that are your parents have a strong faith?
Yeah, pretty strongly. My mom said it kind of came to her in her sleep.
Oh, was that
So
right?
yeah.
You followed Jed Fish, from Arizona to Washington. What was it about Coach Fish that made you want to follow him?
Just the aspect of being a pro. Like I said, he tries to model the 33rd NFL team. So it's like he does a lot of NFL style things and just a lot of things to prepare you for the next level.
Do a couple more.
What do you view as the strength of your game?
I feel like I have a lot of strengths. I'm just trying to work to get better in all aspects of my game.
What are your first impressions of the organization, the people you've met so far?
Oh man, it's just a blessing. Like I haven't even got to meet the coaches yet, but just being here at the stadium is a blessing.
Kyle has talked a lot about when it comes to the development of a coach. He credits his early time in Tampa getting to actually work on the defensive side of the ball to help him as an offensive coach. And he's talked about different coaches having that experience. You obviously have worked on both sides. How much do you credit your work on the offensive side, including with Kyle in Atlanta, for your development as a defensive coach?
I mean, it's been...
You obviously have credits his early time.
Do your best to stop these really explosive offenses. That's okay.
Sorry. Kyle has talked a lot about when it comes to the development of a coach. He credits his early time in Tampa getting to actually work on the defensive side of the ball to help him as an offensive coach. And he's talked about different coaches having that experience. You obviously have worked on both sides. How much do you credit your work on the offensive side, including with Kyle in Atlanta, for your development as a defensive coach?
I mean, it's been... our whole career has kind of been the business of being nosy, so to speak. So like when Kyle came to Tampa, fresh out of UCLA, all fired up and eager, we were stealing his dad's zone scheme, keeper game as much as he was stealing Tampa 2 and all different values that he wanted to bring to us. So when we did all the cross training, even when we were young, it was constantly staff development within the building with some of the better coaches that we had been around in our lifetime. Really, Mike Tomlin was secondary coach, and Monty Kiffin was the defensive coordinator, along with Rod Marinelli, and what he was able to bring with the original a part of his attack front, doing some of the different things. Soda the stud that we have, very similar to that stuff. And he was around a lot of good coaches, and Joe Barry, all those guys. But we shared a bunch of information, and then I got a chance to obviously work on defense for such a long time. And when I was able to switch over to offense, with Kyle in Atlanta, kind of having the outside in version of what the offense looks like, what it means, and what it's going to do, to really get into the deep weeds of it and watch him game plan and watch him go through the process of a week preparing for a different team. And then even when he left, being able to stay on that side of the ball and really develop and grow, and as a person that can really go out there and formulate plays to go find open spaces and do different things that you want to do from an offensive standpoint, was so much fun and so much different perspective than you had just going out there coaching defense, right? You can actually, speak in their language, understand what some of the quarterback reads are, being able to be detailed enough to go out there and try to stop those things, being able to explain it to your players in a completely different way, which was my strength when I went from defense to offense, and then being able to come back, it still remains your strength. So like, you grow from all the experiences, you gain all the experience with the people, and I've really enjoyed the process of being able to switch back and forth. Now, not many coaches in the National Football League say they can coach on both sides of the ball, and definitely not many can say they've been on a number one defense and a number one offense and coached on those sides of the balls in respective seasons. So like, I am truly blessed, truly feel it is like a definite benefit to being able to work with Kyle and being able to work around those type of people.